So once you've got your firewall up and running, you'll notice that one of the strengths of the Palo Alto firewalls is the ACC. Login, of course, is very important, massively important. And the reason for this is because you can't find anything without logging, basically. So any issues that you have, you need to be able to refer to your logs to see that who accessed it, when they accessed it, and why. And the ACC is one of the best ways of doing that. So I thought I'd just do a quick walk round of the ACC and sort of explain how we use it and how to get the best out of it. So up here in the corner we've got the time. So you can see there you got last 90 days, last 7 days, or a custom time frame. So you can start from, say, yesterday 12 a.m. to today, let's say 9. Okay, and then that shifts all the globally, so all of the windows and all of the widgets get then shifted to that time frame, and it will go back through and it will get the traffic from that time. Okay, so there we go. So we can see the applications, see the users, only have just none, which is everybody else in the house and me. Then we have the source IP activity. In this particular instance, it is using it resolves it against the object. So for instance, my object for my management is 220 and it's PA220 management. Do you know what? I never even realized I did that. That's terrible, isn't it? That shows absolutely no imagination at all. Anyhow, so then we got the destination IPs, the destination regions, the rule usage. So you've got the rules that have been used, how much traffic is going to cross them. And then, unfortunately, in this particular instance, I haven't got any hit profiles. But you would have then the hit profiles and the operating systems that are accessing the rules. So if we clear that off, the default is the last hour. And then that will go back to the last hour. Okay. Then we come to the filters. So we've got the filters. So if you want to add, let's say you want to look at network activity, and you just want to look at updates. So if you just click on it, here you can see it's there, and that means that it's specifically filtering this window. None of the others will have changed, and then you can go through the sessions. Sessions 26, users and source. Threats, there should be none. No threats. Content. Okay, nothing to report there. The users we know is not going to be, and the profiles we know is not going to be. Now, if you then wanted to move that, so let's get rid of that, because there's two ways background. So if we go to bytes, so in the last hour, we know that we want to have a look at this and what's accessing it. So if we click this arrow here to add it to the global filter, it will then refresh all of them. And here we have the bytes. Source user is none because it's coming directly from here. So source IP activity. Where it's going to, the source regions, which in this particular instance is private address range 192.168.0.0 to 255.255, and the rule that it's gone out on. So if we want to clear that, can do. And that's the same then for anything else as well. So if we then want to look at, say, anything that is in risk 2 in the last hour, and obviously this is going to work a lot better if you have multiple users and you've got multiple users defined. And so in this particular instance, we can see now, so in the last hour, this is the sort of low risk applications that are being used. This is where they're all coming from, and these are the users. So, for instance, a good use case for this would be if we clear that, and then so if we want to go to, say, a relatively high risk one, and then we can see we've got all the stuff there that it regards as being high risk, who's using it, where it's coming from, and then you could, so let's put that in there as well, clear that one off. Then we can see where in the last hour 192.168.0.62 has been going. We have all the destination addresses being resolved there. Hopefully nothing embarrassing comes up. No, all good. And the countries, so United States, Ireland. Now I happen to know for a fact that 62 is using, I believe it is one of the Rokus I have, I believe. Okay, so that's kind of like, and then you have here, if we clear all these off, clear all, then this is a very easy way of looking at it. So you can see, okay, well, at the minute we've got YouTube base being used, loads, photo and video, and then you can see you got TikTok and Instagram, so then that categorizes it underneath. If you want to go back, app category media, then you can see just media in general. Go back to home, then we've got all of them. Unknown UDP. This is also, so from the dashboard you've got the same widget, the same display on the dashboard. If you then click on that, you'll come through to ACC. So if I want to look at unknown UDP, then global, I can see what's using unknown UDP. So I've got work PC, which is using it, 17 and 43. Now, of course, in an ideal world, you would have a user set up for that, and you'd be able to track that then back to the user. And also this can then be popped out as well. So if we want to just clear that off, clear all. Refresh. That's not ideal. So if I go back to home, that's because I put the filter already in that. So we can see we've got a list there, but that's not going to be exhaustive. If we want to then pop that out to maximize it, and as it says, view more data, so we can then look at all of the applications that are being used. So then it moves on to Grammarly and so on. Not quite sure who's using Grammarly. We can then add that to the global filter. Pull that down, and then we can see that's 17. I happen to know that that is my daughter's laptop, and see where it's going. The same can be said for, if you go to threat activity, so URL filtering, then we can see the URLs that are being going to, the amount of the session count. You got medium risk, low risk, insufficient content. So if we go to medium risk, and then if we add that then to the global filter, we can come back to network activity, and then the global filter will show us, hopefully. We got this right. Where we're going, then it's the work PC that's using stories.live.com, which makes sense. Okay, threat activity. So you have packet attacks, of which there's loads. This is because the front end of the firewall is open to the internet. Ergo, people will scan it constantly. And I always say to some people, and say, oh, well, why would people sort of scan my address? Why would people be looking to break into my networks? They're not looking to break into your networks. They've set up bots and automated services just to scan all IPs on the internet, slowly but surely, or they will settle on a single cider or something like that from a particular ISP. In this particular instance, they're scanning mine, and the type of you can see the threat name is non-SYN TCP, ICMP errors. So people doing, say, fragmentation attacks where they send the ICMP packet and they send it a certain size to see what kind of MTU you've got going. If you're on 1500, then chances are you've not got any VPNs running or something like that. And that'll all show up there. Go to spyware. And then that's what it's referring to as spyware. And if I pop that in there and get rid of that, I can go there, network activity, and of course, because it's now in the global filter, it then populates all of them with where that's going from, and that's actually the internal interface. And it's using DNS, so I know for a fact that there's certain things making a call, because I have DNS proxy, so certain things making a call to TT Live CDN, which I know. Okay. Again, we got blocked activity. Okay, so as the name suggests, this is blocked activity. This is stuff that has been blocked by the firewall. Go to URLs. There's a quick and easy way of seeing there what URLs have been blocked. And then if we just go to that, then again, there's no data display on blocked user activity. But if we come back to network activity, using the Google Docs base, we'll see that there are several sources for that, although there isn't in this particular instance, which is weird. So let's go to try there, and then we can open it up to 17. So you can see, and then you got global protect activity as well, so you can look into the global protect. You can look at users that are coming on, portals and the gateways. I haven't got any at the minute. You can see there. Go back to network activity. And then so URL house API abuse, that would come from my Cortex internal server, and that makes sense. So I hope that's been sort of fairly informative. You have a basic sort of, you can see from there that you've got 3.2, which it's not great, but it's not bad. Auto refresh, so that it auto refreshes as it says. You can add widgets, so there you can add different displays and different widgets to the ACC. So you've got a different sort of tab, and you can also export the information as well. So you can print the network activity. Firefox. Got URLs there, and you can quite easily run what's going where. So if we want to go to, so if we clear this and we decide we want to look at URLs for the last 6 hours, okay, and then we want to look at the users. So this is what my Cortex instance is doing. Okay, so this is everywhere that it's been, what countries it's making it to, and obviously where it's come from, which is 10 in this particular instance, and the rule that it's using. This is also sort of accessible. So from here, if we want to go to here, we can then, if you look at the top applications, we can, and that will take us there as well. It's designed specifically to allow you to go through and get the information you need very, very quickly, so that you can solve a lot of problems, basically. The searching through, I find it a lot easier than some of the other stuff, because there isn't a lot of, I mean, okay, sure you can. So if we go to, so if we clear this off, clear that, okay, and we look at everything, so we can say, I want to, which one is it? So I can say I want to, for NTP, okay, and I want to jump to logs, and I can go to unified log, and it will generate the search for me. So rather than sitting down and having to think, okay, so I need the receive time, this is the receive time, I need that, and I need that, you can use the ACC, jump from the ACC to that. So if I wanted to clear that off, we'll do it again to clear that off. So I want to look at, say, applications that I've been going to in the last hour. Okay, and my address, which is 10, which is the address of this PC I'm on now. And then I want to jump to the logs and look at the traffic log, and then it's built it for me. So there's one hell of a lot more to the ACC than just the pretty colors. Once you start to find your way around this, you'll find that it is very, very easy, and it's yeah, and it works really well. And as I say, I personally think the ACC is one of the best ones out there. There are, you then put it against Cortex XOR and everything like this, and by the time you've got that whole thing working together, you end up in a situation where you pretty much you are aware of everything that's happening on your network, and you can react to it, and in your absence it can be reacted to as well. So again, I hope that's been informative. Any questions, please let me know. And yeah, I'll see you for the next video.